The satsang that you will learn today is an inner satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These practice sessions are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these practice sessions, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul. But only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, you'll receive instructions on how to practice the meditation, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He is the grandson of Guru Maharaj, who is the founder of Ashram Satsang. At a very early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. During that time, he personally witnessed the benefits that satsang could have on mankind. And upon arriving to the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangees. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English. And he has worked tirelessly to make satsang available to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout India and the United States facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
So let's try to understand the path to inner peace, the 5 steps towards the actual goal or the ultimate goal of lasting and the ocean of inner peace. So let's understand the problem and let's understand the solution. And let's break it down into these 5 steps. So the 5 steps to inner peace. So at the first level, which is the realm of the world, the problem is the direction. We're going in the wrong direction, and hence destination is not to be found. So what's the solution here? The solution is changing the direction. So once you change your direction inwards, looking inwards, you are already in realm 2, which is the realm of life. Here, you have started the inward journey, the journey towards lasting peace. Because in the realm of the world, peace is nowhere to be found. Even if it is there, there are only glimpses of peace, not any form of lasting or continuum of peace. So in realm of life, you have changed the direction, but desires are still impacting our ability to achieve lasting peace. Now, why do desires make a difference? So the thing is that every time we get ourselves consumed with achieving something or trying to, like my father used to give an example of, somebody would say, okay, I want a new car. And that thread is on and on and on till you get that new car. So the inner peace was, oh, I couldn't find the loan, or something else happened, I couldn't figure out something changed. And so there is this whole process. You're going through that continual barrage of thoughts. The barrage of thoughts are probably one of the biggest challenges to inner peace. So these desires create barrage of thoughts. And the example I was taking, that my father used to give is every single time you achieve a certain desired goal, there is a moment where that thought or the chain of thoughts goes away. You find that, glimpse of peace at that moment. So lack of the thought creates that, moment of peace. So for example, you needed a car, or you want to buy a house, or you want a promotion. There is this series, non-stop series of thoughts. And then when you achieve it, there is a moment when that series has died down and gone away and vanished, and there is peace. But that is only, it's just a glimpse. It's not a lasting peace. It's just for that moment, because very quickly we find another thing that will occupy our minds, and that barrage of thoughts will then kick in. So there is just that transition period where you actually find peace. And hence, my father used to say that when that chain of thought, which is connected to a desire, the desired goal is achieved, that chain of thought ceases and peace appears. So the going away of thoughts is what peace is all about. We actually really look at it, meditative practices based on that foundational concept, that lack of thought is peace. So now let's go to the next step, where in the realm of mind, the problem is this barrage of thoughts and also emotions which cloud our mind. So it's not just desires, but there are emotions, and these emotions also, like anger would get you consumed, greed, lust, and all these emotions have a cloud that basically is formed, and that also takes away the peace. So it's not just the desires, it's not just the thought processes, but there are these triggers or these states of emotional imbalance that also disturbs our peace. So in realm of mind, both of those aspects are controlled so that you actually would be able to push those in the background, and hence more peace will appear. Hello, everyone. There are few people who have attended this before, but there are some new ones too. So as Eddie was saying, and thanks, Eddie, for getting us started here. We will just talk about an interesting topic. A lot of questions asked, like, how do you stay positive in toxic surroundings? So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then this is a guided meditation, not breathing, not like you meditate while guidance is given. It just the guidance comes, a set of instructions, and after that you transition in with music, and then there is deep meditation in silence. That's the core of this session. And after the meditation, everyone interacts in terms of any questions, any observations, sharing of how things have been going. What I would suggest is that let's get through the practice and then describe how we meditate. And while we're talking about how do we stay positive in various different circumstances, I'll talk about some of the concepts that we utilize here, and then we'll open up for more questions, just sharing of things. Idea here is that as we get in, let's step back, relax. The initial part is just to get us in the mode of getting into deep meditation that is coming in 15 minutes. All right. So just step back, relax. This question comes up again and again. And there are some folks here who have asked different versions of this question. So I just thought today, let's tackle this. And there is a simple answer, and then there is a little bit long-winded answer. And I'll try to keep it as short as possible, though. Yuan, I think if we bring that up, do you have the first slide? The question is how to stay positive in toxic surroundings. And I come to the simple answer later, but what we need to understand is that all of us react to things very differently. And sometimes when we are in good state, quote unquote, we react one way. And when we're not in such a good state, we react differently. So there are outer events in the world, and how we react to it differs. And so we need to understand that aspect, and more from a spiritual and vertical progress towards a more peaceful state perspective. So how we react, so there is outer event. We don't have much control on that most of the time, but what we have control on is our internal states. So I picked up some things. So my grandfather started his nonprofit and started sharing publicly what he learned from his guru. And in that process, he wrote lots of books, and he described a 5-step process, which I found that in thousands of years ago, there were Upanishads which described it. But recently I read a book, Power of Focus, written by the authors of the Chicken Soup series. And they also mentioned that progress is vertical while we continue to move horizontally in terms of time, past, present, and future. But if we want to uplift ourselves, we have to progress. And this 5-step process kind of talks about that. So Yuan, if you want to bring that 5-step pyramid, let's talk about that a little bit. So as Yuan is bringing up the 5 steps, initially, like here, let's think about before we get to the land of deeper peace, we have to cross some quote unquote, this is a map of internal states. So the way you grow spiritually and the way you react changes as you move vertically upwards on this pyramid. So initially, peace is very elusive because we are trying to find that in this world, which world keeps changing. This action reaction continues in a way that we seem to be getting affected very heavily by people and our surroundings. But then when you ground yourself, the simple solution is like, can we ground ourselves into strong positive energy? And that's what this whole practice is all about. So what it does is moves you up. And while the initial 3 realms, there is continual impact on, so while you're growing internally to become more spiritual, more grounded in positive energy, what happens is that it is still frequency, the intensity, and the recovery times continue to reduce as we progress upwards. So how many times you reacted in a way that later on you said, like, why did I do that? How many times, the intensity of that reaction, and how long were you perturbed? So all that starts to reduce. So what do you do? First, you have to start looking inwards. One step could be like with music, with chanting, with some activity-based meditation, you ground yourself to be more positive. But what we will practice here today is inner meditation, and we'll get to it very quickly. So literally, you are getting to the realm of the mind where you still have clouds of emotion and mind control challenges. But as you practice satsang, what you will find is, like, even after the first session, your ability to become peaceful, at least for a few moments, that target far more achievable. But later on, you could develop a practice where at 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, you just inculcate some positive energy, induce some positive energy that keeps you grounded positively throughout the day. As you are wrapping up the day, you re-energize. If that cycle continues, one, you're continually uplifting yourself through these steps. But as you move to the fourth realm, that state becomes far more consistent, constant, and more deeper. And that is when better insights come up, because your emotions are in control. So your mental faculties, your capabilities in your brain become far more pronounced, focused, and your ability to see things clearly and concentrate on things and get deeper into their meaning, your perception changes drastically. And that leads to the understanding of how we're connected to other people, understanding of how we can actually help others, the deep connection that we already have, because we are all conscious beings. So that higher level of consciousness starts to come up in the fifth realm. And all that then leads to this land of amazing peace. So what I would say is that grounding yourself in positive energy, which is what we will practice now, as it gets more and more integrated into your lifestyle, into your day-to-day, instead of you getting affected by toxic surroundings, you start affecting people with more positive impact. That's the transformation that this pyramid basically talks about. We will talk more after the session. Let's try to practice this and see how much it works. It's very simple, very powerful. For most people, you will see the difference right away. Just to mention that every Saturday, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern, same link works. So you can always join the group, because group energy is always helps us. So a positively energized group or a collective positive energy has a far deeper and impact on our own practice. That helps a lot. I think Eddie mentioned that too. So welcome everyone. Now let's get into the instructions of how to meditate in silence. So what we'll do is first close your eyes and observe your body a little bit to see that you're completely relaxed. There is no strain anywhere, and you are in a relaxed position where you can stay still for the next 20, 30 minutes. It is important because the sensory input that comes into the eyes, so closing the eyes stops that. Every time your body moves, your mind moves with it. So we want to stop that as well. So eyes lightly closed, and then observe that you're completely relaxed and you can stay still for the next 15, 20 minutes. Now think of the most positive and uplifting transcendental energy in form of light that's right here, right now with us, in front of us. And that's entering our heart and filling our heart with this energy and this light and enlightening us, and our heart is getting filled with that light. And then from there, this light is traveling throughout our body to every part. Mention this again. So this transcendental energy in form of light is in front of us in form of light, and that light is entering our heart and distributing throughout our body. And we are becoming one with this light. We're getting completely and totally immersed in this light. And hence, we are becoming this energy. It is difficult to stay still and stay on one thought and one thought alone of this light entering our heart and distributing throughout our body, and that we're becoming one with this light. So every time, so it's natural, the mind will go away and we will realize that it has wandered somewhere else. As soon as you realize, so that's an effort that you have to make, that as soon as you realize that mind has wandered away, bring it back to this thought and this thought alone, that you are in presence of this positive and uplifting transcendental energy, which is in form of light, and that light is entering our heart, enlightening our heart, and that light is then going everywhere to every part of your body, and you're getting completely and totally immersed in this light inside and out. We'll start with music, and then the music will fade away, and then we'll meditate in silence, and then we'll break or transition out from this meditation with music for a few minutes, and then we'll start the interaction and the interactive session. So let's start now.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. As you've probably noticed, Sanjeevji is traveling again. He will be in India for some time. So this Saturday, he will be conducting a satsang there. And it's my understanding that it will be recorded and broadcast this coming Saturday as well. So if you've never seen one of these before, you should maybe, if you can, just have a look at it, because it's quite impressive with the number of people that attend these satsangs. So for today, I believe this is a wrap for today. I don't think we have another video that we're going to play. So in closing, I just want to remind everyone that what we're engaged in here is spiritual work. We're coming out of an age where our society is basically filled with a lot of desires, animalistic desires, and a love for material things, and not so much appreciation for our spiritual growth or spiritualism. And what we do here is we have this simple method whereby we can experience these higher realms, and it's not for naught, because if you truly want to be happy and successful, even material in this world, you really first have to become accomplished in the spiritual world. And so this method that Guru Maharaj has given us is very simple to follow. You do 2 times a day, morning and evening, 15 minutes a day, and you can obtain these higher states of consciousness, and ultimately obtain the highest state, which we call the ocean of bliss, ocean of joy, and then live in this world in such a state. And so that's what we're trying to accomplish here today. And this being a scientific method, all that's required is that you practice, practice, and practice. And so these sessions that we do on Tuesday and Saturdays are to establish regularity in your practice, And this is really a gift, that Sanjeev has given us. It helps us develop that regular practice. Basically, is what it does, and it's benefited by the fact that we're a group and we participate in this collective group energy. So it expedites our progress and improves our focus, as I say in the introduction. So thank everyone for being here today. Don't forget, we have something this Saturday, and I'll see you next Tuesday.